Good morning. As we start the day today, I want you to think about yesterday, all right? Think about last night, just before you went to bed, and you did a rewind of all the things that happened in the day. How did that turn out for you? Did you achieve your daily goals? If so, great. Or did you let certain things slide? Were there certain things that needed to be done, but for whatever reason, it just kind of slipped by, in fact? Some of you are thinking that, crap, I missed out some things from yesterday. I got to do them today. Here's the thing. What I found out in this manifestation journey, there have been times when I have not kept up with my routines. Like I mentioned in a previous video, end of the year, I was watching a bit more Netflix anime series. I did quite a fair bit of binge watching. Some of them were good for my education and good for my life experiences. But as I resumed the year, I started to conveniently drop some of the routines that I do, like journaling, to-do list, trying to spend a meditative moment at the beginning of the day, thinking about how I want today to look like. Or before I sleep, not spending the time to think about what thoughts do I want to bring into my sleep. What I found out is that it's the work year already. I need to get to my peak performance and I'm not quite there. So the message I want to tell you in this video is before we can let the world, the simulation, control us, we have to choose how we want to control the simulation, the outside world, today's events. And you go in a day with certain things in your mind, like you wrote out some thoughts, all the things that I want to do that are valuable to me, and I'll try to find some way of fitting into my schedule. A lot of people who've actually went on to do a to-do list, like the way I've been instructing in my Be Inspiration series, they found out when they come back the next day and review this book, or even a few days later, lo and behold, you will actually accomplish quite a lot of stuff. Because when we think about it, our mind is already given an instruction. Fit this into your schedule somewhere. I don't know how you're going to execute it. I don't know when you're going to execute it. But remember, this needs to be done. And the strange thing is that it does work out. Kind of like speaking to the God in us, saying, this is what I want, thank you, and I go free. Kind of like Mark chapter 11 verse 24, where it says, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have it and it will be yours. So when I look through the things that I've written out, sometimes when I strike them out, it's because either they are no longer relevant, or I found a different way to address this issue, or perhaps I found out that this wasn't the real issue but something else is, or perhaps I found that this is no longer in line with my objective. So I strike something out and instead make a new entry. But more than that, another powerful way to take charge of your day is that 5-minute daily routine that I've mentioned before. In the recent days, I create a playlist of music that I truly enjoy that makes me feel very inspired and motivated and emotional and triggered in a good sense. I compiled this playlist. For example, it could be some of the anime track. Remember I reviewed the song Request by Crage a few videos ago? That happens to be one of the songs as well. And the orchestra version of Tokyo Ghoul soundtrack Unravel. Incidentally, both of these are by TK Ling. Other than that, there are also some other songs that I created using AI that I quite enjoy, that if I have the extra time, I would actually want to go to a recording studio and record them in my own voice. And I spend 1 to 3 minutes playing a track, thinking about some of the best moments in my life. I could be playing upon the same moments from memory. For a few days this week, I repeated a similar memory where I was winning a competition, or back in high school when I was awarded best debater or best speaker. And there are other occasions that I even experimented, like rewriting the memory. For example, in the end of grade school, I thought my grades were supposed to be much better than they were. I sincerely felt my examination scripts were wrongly graded. But unfortunately at that time, my mom had this mentality that there's no such thing, and if she wrote to the Ministry of Education to get it regraded, the result could come out possibly worse. So in this rewrite of my memory, I imagined that my mom actually went to appeal to get it regraded, and the score was like what I expected it to be, what I felt that I was worth. And I saw this moment of me receiving a certificate of achievement for good academics and a scholarship that I could take into high school. what I wanted to say is that it does not necessarily have to be something that happened. Of course, happen is great. But sometimes we're just so sure of certain things in life that we knew we got shortchanged, and we know the reality, whatever result we got, is a lie. Our true worth is this. So let it be. Live those moments of victory in your mind's eye. That's the first thing that I do. The second visualization that I do is that I will think of someone that respects me a lot. If some of you cannot think of someone who does respect you, then it's probably a good idea to start living in a way that deserves respect, gratitude, and appreciation from other people. Have such a person in mind. What are some of the things that this person has said to you in the past? Maybe they gave you some encouragement, some praises, or let's say if you don't speak that much, what are some of the things that you think are in their minds speaking to you? As I was visualizing one of the other high schoolers that play table tennis after school, one of those kids that I give some advice to when my kids are late in showing up and I have some practice with them. I was just thinking of the things that he may say. Perhaps like, "You're such a great and involved dad. I wish my parents had more time like you. I would love to be able to spend after school time in such an enjoyable way with my kids too when I grow up. I'm not sure how you do it, but for your age, you look incredibly young and fit. You're an inspiration for me to losing weight." The third activity, I go in front of a mirror. I look myself in the eye and continuously say things. It will be something like, "You're so determined. You're an excellent problem solver. People can give you any work problem. Even as much as you may complain, you always find the best solution for it. You are so responsible. You're a great manager of your time. You have so many things going on in your life, but somehow you still manage to see to every single thing." In the fourth activity, I think of a few events that I want to see happening in the future, or maybe even for today. These, I see them in the form of an image or like a 5-second video. It could be like me and my phone or me and my computer. I see an email, the contract that I've been working on have come back faster than expected. Or I open my email and I see that, wow, this contract, there's nothing else to change. The client has accepted all the terms and they're ready to move ahead. It could be having a good meal with my boss and my boss saying, "Let's just celebrate because next week is going to be such an awesome week. We've got all these great contracts lined up and you've played such an important part in all of what has happened and what is to come." It could be a mental video of me hitting the winning shot as I play table tennis against my daughter, who has been beating me a lot lately. After this is done, that's when I take out my journal. I think of what are the things that I can do today that contributes to my greater goals. So why are we doing all these things? Because like I said, either you let the outer world and all the things that happen affect and control you, or you can control how today's activities will serve you into achieving all these things you've thoughtfully thought about. Try this out today if it's still the morning. It does take time, but it's well worth to wake up 15 minutes earlier than usual to set aside this time for you to think. In Neville Goddard terms, this is also to give you the feeling of the wish fulfilled. How many people in this world live unfulfilling lives because they find that whatever they want is too challenging, too distant, unfathomable? Ultimately, they just brush it aside and think that, well, that's just another dream. But it doesn't have to be that way. Dreams are ultimately concepts that appear in our head. With adequate planning, dreams become reality. Every device that we have now that our parents' generation or grandparents' generation didn't have is a concept, a dream that someone perceived, and they made a plan to make it into fruition. What are you going to make into your fruition today, this week, this month, or this year? What good things can you see happening to you? Take the time to see in your mind's eye these things happening to you. Some people call it woo-woo, but we do actually have the third eye. It is the ability to see and experience images when we just try to close our eyes and look up above our eyebrows. Close your eyes and look up above your eyebrows. And as you inhale, sometimes you can even feel light going up to this part of our head. And in that lit up moments, we see inspiration. Somehow images pop up into this space. I like to quote Steve Harvey, and he says, God put it into your imagination. He didn't put it into someone else's imagination. He put it into your imagination. That means this is for you. God put this into your imagination because this is for you to see, for you to realize. This is your calling, so act upon it. One thing you can also do is that if something seems too abstract, too distant, we can also use this ability to see and think, okay, what would it be 3 months before that? For this to happen 3 months before that, what does it look like? Who is around me? What's happening around me? What are the activities of my life? In these ways, we can give ourselves a blueprint. When we have to walk a journey, it's only difficult when we don't know how to get there. But if we give ourselves a map and certain checkpoints, that becomes a lot easier. Spend time to think of how you want today to be, because you can control it. Now, if it's nighttime that you're watching this video, tomorrow, set your alarm 15 minutes earlier and think about how is the day going to be. And let me know in the comments how it's worked out for you. For another great video, watch this one over here.